Let's talk about work-life harmony. I choose to use the term work-life harmony as opposed to work-life balance. I believe work-life balance implies that there's some us against them with work and life, when in fact work is a part of life. It's one of many aspects of life. Our life can be broken down into health and sleep and family and relationships and leisure time and spirituality and hobbies and work and all sorts of things. And work's just part of that. I believe that most people are proud of the work that they do. They find value in work, and it's an important part of making them a whole person. So work again just becomes one of those many aspects of life that we've got to harmonize with all the other aspects of life so that we live in balance. And maybe that's where work-life balance comes from, but I choose to look at it as work-life harmony. I think there are two components that you have to have in order to find harmony in your life with work and the other aspects. I think the first one is you've got to have a leader or an organization that you work for or with that is determined to give you the opportunity to find that harmony. I think there are a lot of things that you can look at in that. I think the most important part is you've got to set expectations for yourself in order to fulfill that opportunity that's provided to you by your leader or organization. So let's break these down into a couple of different ways we can look at, how this works together. Every leader, every organization is looking to get 100% out of you for the work that they pay you to do. That's a given. What it should not be expected is that you give 100% of everything to work. And that's where many of us find ourselves out of harmony with work and the other aspects of our life. I think leaders must allow individuals to set and communicate and maintain boundaries. And what do we mean by boundaries? I think having focus time for big projects or tasks, setting off hours, setting response times to communications, setting meeting schedules, those sorts of things provide boundaries that let us get our work done, as well as achieve the relationships that we need at work, as well as completing all the tasks that are due at work. So that when we do go home and spend time with family or try to catch up on sleep or want to go work out or go to the grocery store and buy healthy food so we can eat right, work can't get in the way because we found ways to set those boundaries so that we can accomplish everything we need to while we're in the workplace. When we talk about off hours and response times, I think it's important that we set expectations with our leaders, with our teams, subordinates, with our peers, whoever that may be that we interact with at work, to know what happens when an email comes in. Are you expecting a response immediately? You're never going to get rest if that's the case. We at our company, we have set a 24-hour response time for emails. So even if my boss on a Saturday night, because he thinks about it, shoots me a quick email, he's not expecting a response until Monday morning on that. So those are important things to do. With messaging apps like Teams or Slack or whatever you may use, if you have one, what are the response times? If somebody sends one of those over, what's the time you're expected to respond in? And for us, we've got a 2 to 4 hour time limit set on those so that we know what our expectations are to accomplish that. That way, you're not constantly getting pinged on your phone and knowing that you've got to respond instantly because you've set those expectations and your boss or your team or your peers know, hey, David's not going to get back to me for 2 to 4 hours because that's the expectation for the message I just sent. And that takes a lot of stress and pressure off. I think the most important part of having those boundaries and being able to set those things up is if you're in an organization now or looking for a leader now that doesn't provide those, you've got to have that courageous conversation with them to be able to say, hey, can we talk about expectations around response times or expectations around meeting participation? Whatever those things are, you've got to have that open and honest communication to deal with that and provide those expectations so that your boss, your peers, your team, everybody knows here's how we're going to work together going forward so that we're not only harmonious in our own work-life harmony, we're harmonious in the way that we work together as a team and an organization. I think the biggest responsibility for work-life balance falls on us as individuals. When we're given the opportunity to take that time, we've got to do so. If my boss emails me on Saturday night and I choose to respond instantly on Saturday night, I may wind up in a back and forth conversation or wind up on a phone call because I didn't even live up to my own expectation for what was set for that response time. So having the discipline to take advantage of the opportunities that you're given is going to be critical for that. I think another one that's come up for many people is remote work. Remote work exploded during the pandemic and exists in many organizations now, remote or hybrid work. And I think one of the most important things you can do if you're a remote worker is to make sure that you've got a very firm boundary set to, your home office versus your home. Setting up your office at the dining room table, for example, is really going to interfere with dinner and breakfast and lunch and family time around the dinner table when an email pops in, because that's your workspace. So being able to separate those two is going to be critical for you to be able to maintain that harmony as well and stay away from that. Focus on work when you're at work. I think it's easy for us to rationalize that, hey, I'm going to take a few minute break here and do some shopping on Amazon before I go to this next meeting. Focus on work. Get the work done while you're at work. You don't have to worry about it when you get home. You don't have to worry about it, on your off hours, whatever that might be, so that you can take advantage of that time when you're not at work to be harmonious with all the other aspects of your life. I think it's also important to take any time off that you're given. Time off is there for a reason. It's for us to recharge and reassess and decompress from work and come back, ready to go when that happens. How do you set yourself up to take that time off? When you are on that time off, are you still answering emails or responding to messages in your messaging apps? If that's the case, did you really take time off? And did you really decompress? So I think it's critical that you set those expectations and then for you live up to those expectations and make sure that you take advantage of those. I think ultimately the only person that really controls the work-life harmony is you. You're in control of where you work and how you work and whether you choose to have those courageous conversations with your leaders or your organization around setting those boundaries around work-life harmony. And it's obviously completely up to you to live within those boundaries so that when you need to go work out, when you need to go shopping for healthy food, when you need to take time and work on your favorite hobby or to read that book you've had by your bedside forever, you've got time to do that because you've set those expectations, you've had the discipline to live up to them, and then you harmoniously make all those aspects of your life work together. I hope that you found this helpful and find ways to set those expectations in your workplace, with your family, with all the aspects of your life so that you can find that work-life harmony and really live up to the potential that your life holds for you.